Welcome back to Strange Form. Today we will be exploring the top 10 Alien Big Chap figures ever released. Number 10, Haya Toy's exquisite mini, Big Chap. Having the distinction of being the newest release on this list, over the last 2 years Haya has hit the ground running, releasing an enormous catalog of 1/18th scale Alien figures spanning the entire franchise. Haya has one other distinction too. It's the cheapest on the list. This figure will make the perfect stocking stuffer at only $20. Ready to menace G.I. Joe figures at 5 inches tall, this small chap sports a surprising amount of articulation, and though some of the details are a bit mushy, there has been a really concerted effort to stay true to the look and feel of the original creature. Number 9. KAIYODO's sci-fi Revoltech 001. Part of Kyoto's popular Revoltech line, this big chap measures around 6.5 inches tall. As anyone who's ever played around with the Revoltech system can tell you, the posability gimmick varies greatly from figure to figure, and unfortunately this one does suffer from some of the likes to fall flat on its face issues haunting the line. That being said, it comes with a few nice accessories, including an egg, facehugger, and plaque. And for the small size, the overall color and aesthetic are fairly true to the original. Plus, this figure, released more than a decade ago, can still be found for around $40 in box. Overall, this is not in any way, shape, or form a bad figure, especially if you can find it at a reasonable price. Number 8. The Sega Arcade Big Chap Claw Machine Prize. Let's be honest, have you ever gotten anything as cool as a nearly 1 foot tall alien figure out of a claw machine? If you have visited the Sega Arcade in Japan during this figure's run as a prize, you could have, as well as a plethora of other alien merchandise, one of which will be in my top 10 strangest Big Chap figures episode. What's more interesting is that the figure is identical to a much more expensive statue, the X Plus USA metallic statue, which came in its own silk-lined box and was limited to a run of 1,000. These routinely retail for over $500. Funny side story, I got mine just over $100 as the Amazon seller had absolutely no idea what it was, and I stumbled across it accidentally as the spelling of everything in the listing was wrong. I decided to roll the dice with Amazon's generous return policy, and lo and behold, number 20 of 1,000. Now, as you can see, the details are nearly identical, as I'm sure the cast used for both of these was the same. And ironically enough, the Sega figure holds on to more fine detail. Plus, the Sega figure has a small amount of articulation, as the arms, hips, and head can swivel. So for price and quality, the Sega figure makes the list over X1. Number 7. The 2014 Bandai Alien Big Chap. This little superposable 6-inch figure seems to take its design cues from both the film and the original Kenner Alien. The head is exaggerated enough to almost fall into chibi territory, and the body has enough articulation to lock the figure into most desired poses, though instead of a bendy wire tail, it has an odd link chain segment design that disallows almost any posability unless supported. The reason this figure has placed higher than either the Haya or the Revoltech figure is because of posability. This little guy locks nicely into most poses without pieces popping off and comes with a small doll stand for extra stability. Though this one is nice, it definitely doesn't live up to its AVP counterpart. But that being said, I do think it is worth around the $40 that you can find it selling for. It would, however, be nice to see Bandai take another crack at this one. Number 6. Max Factory and Good Smile Company's Figma action figure series, Alien Takeyuki version. This 7-inch tall, hyper-stylized ode to the titular character is based on the famed work of Takeyuki Takeya. Known for his incredible statues, Takeya made his splash in the world of Alien in 1993, creating the Alien Pile, spawning some of the more sought-after collectible statues in the world of the Xenomorph. Takeya managed to take a creature who already lives up to the film's name and somehow make it even more alien, sporting a good amount of articulation, a lot of fine detail, as well as a stand and a facehugger accessory. This figure leans into the thin, lurching look of the creature and is a great addition for those who can't afford to or even find any of Takeya's larger statues. For more on those statues and tips and tricks on how to procure some of these figures, please see the link in the description. What list would be complete without the OG, the pace setter for all future R-rated film franchise toys, the figure that sent parents running to their desks to write angry letters and children scurrying under their covers lest they see it at the head of their bed in the middle of the night. The Kenner Alien would start a lifelong Grail hunt for thousands of collectors and become a thing of myth and legend spoken of by adults who swore they had one and are still in counseling to this day because of it. The Kenner Alien is far more film accurate than it has any business being, possibly more accurate than any other film figure before it. From the tubing around the body to the skull under the dome, the developers of this figure were obviously fans of the film. As a matter of fact, when the figure was released, many didn't know that the alien had a human skull under the front portion of the dome. It really couldn't be seen in the film, and wasn't even reproduced in the heavy metal comic book adaptation. There are a lot of corners the developers of this action figure could have cut, and many since have. The fact that they produced a figure so lovingly similar to its celluloid counterpart will always strike me as being the genesis to the current adult collector market, especially with the figure being a whopping 18 inches tall and prone to display rather than play. Having spent a good deal of my life searching for one, the Kenner Alien may only place number 5 on my list, but it definitely places number 1 in my heart. Honorable mention, though it was Kenner Toys original that made the list, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Gentle Giant's huge 24-inch, loving reproduction of the original figure. Number 4, NECA Toys Alien. Though McFarlane beat them to the market with the first 1/10 scale Big Chap, NECA has spent over a decade and a half perfecting and re-releasing this figure, but is their 1/4 scale figure that makes my list, namely the Kenner Alien Tribute packaging version and the 1/4 version that preceded it, largely because both of these figures have slightly different paint schemes, which are both film accurate but in different ways, i.e. one has a more translucent dome and the other has a frosted dome, which is in line with the fact that the prop kept fogging up on set. Other than slight paint differences, these are primarily the same figure, and my only one complaint about either is that NECA has always gotten the scale of the mouth portion of the creature incorrect, as this part is far too large. With the amazing articulation and sturdy ratchet joints, as well as awesome, intricate paint applications, I believe that if NECA could overcome this one scale issue, they might have the perfect organism. Number 3. Medicom Toys Real Action Heroes Alien. This isn't the alien figure with the best articulation, nor is it the figure with the best detail or paint applications. So why is it so far up on the list? Simple. It represents the first figure on the list that got the proportions of the creature right. You heard that correctly. From the size of the jaw to the length of the arms, this figure nails the proportions of the original costume. The figure is a rubber suit crafted over an inner armature, so there are very few obvious joints, causing it to very much look like production shots of Balogi Badeo in costume. Medicom is no stranger to the Alien franchise, having produced Alien figures since the early 90s. This one being the 4th in a line of real action hero alien figures, of varying detail and quality. Though this figure measures 12 inches tall, it is not in true 1/6 scale. Were they to release this in a slightly larger, more detailed version, I would proudly display it next to the Hot Toys Ripley figure over Hot Toys' own shamefully inaccurate Big Chap. Number 2. Medicom Toys mafix Alien. Medicom again finds their way towards the top of the list, with what is, and I don't want to mince words here, the single best and most accurate articulated Alien Big Chap figure that you can buy currently. Measuring 8 inches tall, from the form to the details, this is a spectacularly accurate rendition of the creature, all without sacrificing articulation. There are small details in the alien costume that often get overlooked, such as the sheep's jawbones on the backs of the heels, or the slight warping in the forearms, because it is in fact a costume. All of these details are here, plus they gave you 2 sets of heads so that you can present the different ways the mouth looked, depending on whether they were using the articulated jaw or not. The only issue I have with this one is something that is a problem with mine in specific. The dome that comes with one of the heads needs to be heated up and reformatted to the figure so that it doesn't jet out as far. Also included in the box is a multi-jointed stand, a face hugger, and a chest burster. I would kill to have this figure in a 1/6 scale, or dare I dream, 1/4 scale. But for right now, the 8-inch comes close to topping my list. Number 1. The Kotobukiya Artifacts 1/10 scale Alien Xenomorph Big Chap. Though not offering any articulation, this pre-painted statue falls more in the arena of figurine, as it is a 9-inch tall plastic figure, similar to any of the others on this list. The reason this figure ranks so high on my list is that it is a near perfect representation of the creature, from the folds and dents in the original costume, to the way that the actor's knees slightly bent inward. Kotobukiya has set out to make something that you usually only find in the $1,000 plus museum quality collector's market. Kotobukiya succeeded this figure with 2 other entries into the Alien franchise, with the Alien Warrior from Aliens and the Runner from Alien 3, but nothing has surpassed the original entry for quality. Unfortunately, despite many requests, Kotobukiya has never revisited this figure for a second run, nor announced any plans to do an upscaled version for the high-end collector's market. The company simply dropped this one on us and walked away as if they hadn't just produced the figure that everyone else would have to live up to. Maybe someday they will revisit the franchise and top this figure, but for now, this entry stands as number 1. As promised, I shall now unmask myself and reveal the mystery that is underneath. Ta-da! And remember, never stop collecting.